NFL history deny their theme a tenacious grip, their cause. The Tennessee Titans still agonize over last year's Super Bowl, falling tantalizingly short. 1 yard more has inspired Tennessee to the best record in the NFL this year. With it, all the advantages of home field. It's the AFC divisional showdown in the Music City. The Titans, the Ravens play next. Everything is playoff ready in Nashville for the AFC divisional playoff. A perfect day for football, 40 degrees, very little breeze. Will it be the Ravens or Titans who meet the Oakland Raiders for the AFC championship? Adelphia Coliseum, these fans on their feet and ready to roar today. Tennessee has lost only one time here in 2 years, but that was to their opponents today, the Baltimore Ravens. Well, if you subscribe to the theory that defenses win championships, watch out for the winner today. They're 1-2 in the NFL. Baltimore has won 8 in a row, and Tennessee is ready to pay back that defeat they had to swallow in November. We welcome Dan Deerdorf, and is there anything quite like the playoff? No. Don't get it so seriously.
Oh, what is it about playoff football, Dick, and such evenly matched teams? You talked about their defense, but both with outstanding running backs and tight ends, good offensive lines, makes you think it's going to come down to the play at the quarterback position. And we're talking, of course, about Trent Dilfer and Steve McNair. Dilfer, not glossy statistically, 8-1, though, as a starter. But the big difference between these two is not the throwing arm. It's when they leave the pocket. Steve McNair, as you can see, he keeps the chains moving. When he's on the move, much more of a factor than Trent Dilfer.
And he has told his coach, Jeff Fisher, he's ready to run today, averaging 52 yards on the ground in his 4 playoff appearances. We're ready for action in the Music City. Special teams coach Alan Lowry with final words to his team. The Titans have won the toss. 48 degrees. It's a perfect day. Very little breeze. And just moments ago, Bonnie Bernstein had a chance to run into Jeff Fisher, coach of the Titans.
Jeff Fisher, you're facing the only team that's ever beaten you at Adelphia. They've done a lot of trash talking this week. How has your squad stayed so quiet?
You know, that's just the way we are. You know, this game's not played during the week. It's played here in about 5 minutes, and that's been our approach all year. You know, that game, we did lose that game. They played well. We did miss the kick right at the end, or things would have been different. In a lot of ways, that was probably the best thing that could have happened to us this year. So none of that stuff matters. This is going to be a great ball game. And they've had a great season. We've had a great season. Something's going to budge.
Thank you.
A year ago, here in this facility, was the Music City Miracle as Dyson defeated the Buffalo Bills with that lateral pass from Frank Wycheck. And these fans are ready to bring full voice in support of their beloved Titans. And it's Derek Mason led the league this year in kickoff returns. It's a very short kick to the 17. And Mason is out to the 32-yard line. Ball comes free, but after the whistle. On comes Steve Air McNair from Alcorn State, the quarterback of the Titans. His numbers, 15 touchdowns to 13 picks. Not all that impressive, but 62% on the season. And again, his legs could be the difference today. Has played well against the Ravens in the 2 meetings. 58% completions, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Eddie George, the tailback. Lorenzo Neal, the blocking back. And Sam Adams comes across the line of scrimmage on his way to the Pro Bowl and on his way to a 5-yard penalty.
Encroachment, 95 defense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, 1st and 5 for McNair, and this The offensive starters in front of him, Brad Hopkins and Bruce Matthews, the left side of that line going to Honolulu. Long, Olsen, and Miller. Miller with the Rams in the Super Bowl last year. George with Neal in the backfield. Mason and Sanders the wideouts, and Frank Wycheck the Pro Bowl tight end. Wycheck in motion, and George tries left tackle, and he runs into that tough resistance. This Raven defense, the toughest against the run this year, allowing less than 2.7 a carry. Here they are: Burnett, Adams to the Pro Bowl, Siragusa, and McCrary. The linebackers, Boulware, Ray Lewis, the Defensive Player of the Year, AP. Jamie Sharper, the other linebacker, underrated. Starks and McAllister at the corners. All-time pro safety Rod Woodson with Corey Harris. Harris replaces Kim Herring, the safety who started most of the year, but bad ankle sprain, will not play today. 2nd and 3, underneath, complete, and the first down goes to Frank Wycheck, who led the Titans in catches this year with 70. Ray Lewis made the tackle.
I think both tight ends today, Dick, are going to play a huge part in their respective teams' offenses. Shannon Sharp on the other side and Frank Wycheck. Nothing very glamorous there. All it does is move the chains. And it's going to be that intermediate, that underneath route. This is a Baltimore team that sits in a cover 2, basically a deep zone most of the game.
On the 46, it's George finds an opening, and he's into Baltimore territory with what appears to be a first down at the 44. Woodson and Harris, the two safety men, make the tackle.
Well, and the crowd reacts because Eddie George took some real pot shots this week. Great blocking at the point of attack, but Eddie George was called a baby by a member of the Raven defense, and that is just superb blocking by Hopkins, Matthews, Kevin Long at center. And how sweet that had to be for Eddie, and this crowd loved it.
Good protection from McNair. Now he has to scramble. He's got running room the other way. And skips down to the 36-yard line before Chris McAllister, who directed those verbal taunts, and Eddie George makes the tackle.
It's a different Steve McNair under center during the playoffs. He runs for nearly twice as much yardage during a playoff game as he does during a regular season game. And that is, you know, he has developed over the years. He does a lot of damage now just from the pocket, just throwing the football. But that's a part of his game that has always been there. He is a difference maker.
Yancey Thigpen now the wide out to the near side. It's George again, plowing for what appears to be another Tennessee first down. It is. Second-year head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, Brian Billick, 46 years of age, tight end at BYU in his collegiate days. A man known for his offensive genius while with the Minnesota Vikings, but has he ever adjusted, admitted himself, to this defense of the Ravens?
Well, remember that Viking team of his was, they broke the league record for most points scored. You're right, he has, and give him credit for adapting his style.
It's George left side again, and this time he's stacked up at the 30-yard line as the Goose, Tony Siragusa from the University of Pittsburgh, there to throw his 340 pounds in the ball carrier.
Well, Chris McAllister was the cornerback who really got things going this week. There's his quote. Every time Eddie touched the ball after that, and that was a hit by Ray Lewis, he just folded like a baby. And that is about as aggressive and a derogatory a quote, Dick, as I have seen someone direct toward a star player in a long, long time. Those are tough words to back up.
And then he said he'd hit the hole and hit the ground, meaning he didn't want Lewis to make contact with him. Might have been an offside as McNair throws a Wycheck screen, a middle screen, but it appeared an offside on the play. Cornell Brown, an extra linebacker, or was it a false start? No, the first signal says offside, Tennessee. So that's 2 times already McNair's caught the Ravens on his count.
And that's and what concerns Brian Billick, those are just concentration penalties. We'll get the call here from Bernie Kukar.
Offside, 51 defense. The 5-yard penalty, still second down.
We were talking about McAllister and Eddie George. Here is the hit. This was November the 12th. And there was that shot by Ray Lewis. And everyone on the Ravens defense maintains that Eddie George was not a factor after that he intentionally took himself out of the game.
Needless to say, he's inspired to play well today. Second down and 2. McNair looking deep, scrambled, hit hard and almost fumbled at the 23-yard line, close to a first down. Michael McCrary, the man with that ever-going motor, chases him down from behind along with Rob Burnett.
And this is the kind of a hit from behind that oftentimes separates the quarterback from the football. Watch the left of your screen right there. That kind of hit, when you don't see it coming a lot of times, will jar the ball loose. Steve McNair has a very tender left ankle. When you see him walk around the Titans complex, he noticeably limps. But during the game, he said, I don't think about it at all. It really is not an issue.
It is a first down, a steady drive with the opening kickoff, consuming more than 5 minutes. Underneath, and it's to Aaron Kinney, the rookie tight end from Florida, and another substantial gain to the 18 of the Ravens. It'll be 2nd and 1. Boulware made the stop.
Well, right now, the Titans are playing like a team that really got something done during their bye week. Fresh legs, a lot of time to work on this game, and look at this first drive. Nothing spectacular. They haven't gone wide or deep at all. Everything in the middle of the field, throwing to the tight ends and running it to Eddie George.
And 2nd and short. George up the middle, gets enough to the 10 for another first down. That's the 9th play of this drive for 58 yards and 1st and goal.
We sat down with Eddie George on Friday, and Eddie's quote was, well, no question that Ray Lewis is the NFL's hardest hitter. I'll give him that, but hopefully I won't lay down during this game.
The word is that the Titans closed mouth most of the week, not offering any rebuttal. Hope to have that chance later in the game. McNair underneath, complete. Yancey, Thigpen, and Thigpen to the 2-yard line. Jamie Sharper saved a touchdown. Thigpen, along with Carl Pickens, expected to see duty today. They've been out most of the year, both suffering hamstrings.
Yeah, Thigpen missed 5 games. Pickens missed 8. But again, look how conservative. Working the middle of the field. That's the first pass to a wide receiver. But all we're looking at is simple little hook pattern. Sit down in that zone. And McNair's doing a good job of identifying the open receiver.
By inches, the Titans could make a first down without a touchdown. 2nd and a long one. George. If you're Jeff Fisher and Eddie George, you couldn't orchestrate it better than that. A long, very powerful, impressive drive with the opening kickoff and the payoff, the touchdown to the Pro Bowler Eddie George.
That, if I'm not mistaken, included a great move, running over a tackler, and staying on his feet. That's a pretty good trifecta for Eddie George.
Al Del Greco, who missed an extra point in the game played against Baltimore that was costly in November, his first in 7 seasons. He's right through the middle on that one, and the Titans offer the first volley. Eddie George bangs in, 7-0 lead. An 11-play drive that consumed almost or more than half of the opening quarter. Eddie George with a touchdown.
Look at the blocking, Dick, by Matthews and Hopkins on the down block. Woodson is in the hole, but he slips and falls, and it's just power football then by Eddie George. But look at the nice seal block here by Yancey Thigpen on McAllister. That keeps the corner from coming in to George from the outside, and Jeff Fisher goes, yeah, baby.
He's calm, cool, collected when he talked with Bonnie Bernstein, but there's a fire burning deep inside this protege of Mike Ditka and Buddy Ryan.
In a football sense, Dick, that drive was perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Corey Harris played here in Nashville at Vanderbilt. And he's a good return man, but he's stopped cold at the 24-yard line by Eric Morris and Terry Killens. Timeout, 7:34 left, opening quarter.
Is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. And by Honda, a winning lineup of cars, sport utility vehicles, and minivans.
And welcome back. Tennessee's done something they could not accomplish in the 2 regular season games against the Ravens. They've scored a rushing touchdown, and that's delighted the sellout of 68,000 plus. Now it's the Ravens' turn, and Trent Dilfer sets them up at the 25.
Listen to this crowd.
Jamal Lewis, the rookie from Tennessee, earns 2.
Eddie Robinson and others in on the tackle. Trent Dilfer started against Pittsburgh midseason, lost that game, was won 8 in a row since. Modest numbers, 12 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. Very bright, a Verizon Academic All-American, is playing days at Fresno State.
Every single person in this stadium is standing.
It's a college environment, no question. Safety blitz, the handoff inside, and Lewis wrapped up after a yard gain by Blaine Bishop. Bishop, the safety man who plays like a linebacker. Ogden, is there anyone better at tackle than he? Mulitano, Mitchell, Flynn, and Swain up front for the Ravens. Lewis, who's been sensational as a rookie running back out of Tennessee. Gash is the blocker. Kadri Ismail and Patrick Johnson. Lots of speed there, and Shannon Sharp led the team in catches with 67. 3rd down and 7. Flags down.
Shannon Sharp took off early.
And the noise, you could hear every call of McNair when Tennessee had the ball, and you hear nothing now. They're very bright fans here in Nashville.
Ball start, 82 offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That'll make it 3rd and 13, and here's the Titans defense, finished #1 ahead of Baltimore statistically, with the freak Javon Curse going to a Pro Bowl 2 out of 2. Leading that front 4 favors Godfrey, the leading tackler, and Robinson at linebacker. Walker and Roll a great year, as did Blaine Bishop, another Pro Bowl for him. Marcus Robertson, the other safety. 3rd and long. Dilfer chased by Holmes, gets away, and then has to slide down far short of the 1st down. Denard Walker up from the secondary, and the fans cheer the defense off the field.
Well, when Steve McNair leaves the pocket, everybody in the Raven defense goes, uh-oh. When Trent Dilfer leaves the pocket, everybody for Tennessee goes, oh, that's fine with me. Because this is Trent running for his life, and he is not the threat in the open field that his counterpart is for Tennessee. They'll be more than happy to flush Trent Dilfer more and more as this game goes along.
Derek Mason at the other end of Kyle Richardson's dying spiral. Mason fields at the 35 and is tackled at the 42-yard line. Corey Harris and Frank Chamberlain in on the stop. 39 yards on the punt, 7 on the return. The Titans have the early lead, 7-0. Now, welcome back to Middle Tennessee, and our aerial coverage today provided by Southwest Airlines. Looking down on this fantastic new facility, Adelphia Coliseum, 68,498. 7-0 Titans. Their second possession begins at the 42. George in motion out of the backfield, and the throw incomplete. Good play by Dwayne Starks over Derek Mason.
We invite you to log on to NFL.com, see why Eddie George is held in such high regard by his teammates. It's all on NFL.com.
Well, until somebody tries to stretch this field vertically, you're going to see the corners and the safeties sitting all over any short or intermediate route. And that was an outstanding job that time by Starks. He's just playing a 5-yard pattern, nothing else.
Aaron Kinney, the tight end, split way out to the right. That's Mason in motion. And George, nothing there. Raven defense that allowed less than 1,000 yards this year. 16 games, 970 yards. First time ever that's happened in the 16-game season. Sam Adams, one of the reasons. What a family. Dad played 10 years, was a great guard with the Patriots. His mother, he said, I got my quickness from Mom. She was a Prairie View basketball player. And get this, his brother plays at the University of Washington, 6'9", 450 pounds.
4.5
offensive lineman.
He plays right guard and right tackle.
Third and long, 11. Underneath, complete to George. Good open field tackle by Ray Lewis.
And words exchanged. I'm sure Lewis complimenting George on his style. Short of the first down, and the punting team will come on for Tennessee.
Well, outstanding work by Ray Lewis and his defensive compadres there, because Tennessee squandered excellent field position. You know, they have a 7-point lead, and they had the ball starting at their own 41 and did nothing with it.
Hold on.
Kudos to Baltimore for his stand.
Jermaine Lewis leading the NFL in punt returns, primarily those two that he took back for touchdowns in the last game of the year against the Jets. Greg Hendrick, fair catch. Lewis at the 17-yard line. Terry Phoenix there to cover for the Titans, and the timeout. 3:39 remaining in the opening quarter in Tennessee. 7-0 Tennessee leading Baltimore early.
Well, the poor field position and the crowd and this Tennessee defense. 3 obstacles to overcome here for Baltimore.
Patrick Johnson in motion. The handoff is to Lewis, and he is dragging a tackler with him across the 20 to the 21. Bonnie, what do you have for us?
Well, guys, at first sight, Jonathan Ogden looks perfectly healthy, but he had a pretty harrowing experience last night. He told me he got food poisoning from eating a pastrami sandwich, and when he went to get an IV to get rehydrated, they botched the IV, and one of the veins on his right arm actually began to hemorrhage. He said, it looks like there was a grape in my vein. He's fine now. He had it wrapped earlier, but seems to be feeling better, guys.
The guy's got veins the size of garden hoses. No wonder he had a problem.
That was a plum, not a grape. It's Lewis again, and he's hit at the 23-yard line. And Jamal Lewis down in the arms of Randall Godfrey. A solid season. He took over as the starter about the 4th game from Priest Holmes. He runs the 40 in less than 4.4 at 235 pounds. Ask the Denver Broncos about his power.
Yeah, he carried it 30 times last week for 110 yards. And Jamal Lewis is going to have to be the engine that drives the Ravens offense today if they're to have a shot.
Priest Holmes replaces him in this passing situation. Dilfer, his first throw underneath, complete to Brandon Stokely. Stokely from Southwest Louisiana. Samari roll on the coverage, and that is the Ravens' initial first down.
Boy, and Stokely not a big part of the passing game, only 11 receptions during the regular season. Again, a very conservative, safe little in route. And here is Kenny Holmes trying to find something against Jonathan Ogden, and that's normally what happens to people. You don't even get a sniff of the quarterback.
Blocks out the sun. Ogden, 6'8" and 340 at left tackle. First down throw into the flat to Shannon Sharp. Not good. He was out of bounds when he caught it. Blaine Bishop on the coverage, along with Denard Walker. Sharp, who was always entertaining, talking with him yesterday, and with all the jaw-jacking and trash-talking this week, he said, you can't teach me anything. I'm the CEO. I learned in the mailroom. I worked my way up.
I asked Shannon, how did Tennessee cover you during the regular season? His response, not very well. He said the one adjustment they made was to put Samari roll on him. We'll see if that happens during the course of the game.
On 2nd and 10, down the middle, wide open is Qadri Ismail, and he can run, and a saving tackle by Samari Roll as Ismail had his eyes on the goal line. Yeah, he had 49 catches on the year and had a big touchdown catch here in the win against the Titans in November.
Well, he's locked up on the Pro Bowl corner, Samari Roll, and just Samari taking away the outside, but giving way too much to the inside to Ismail in a trail position. And Qadri Ismail, a receiver that can run away from just about anybody in this league.
33 yards on the play. First down at the Titans, 36. Dilfer changing his play. And it's Lewis hitting the backfield, and down he goes. And Jason Fisk and John Thornton, the young defensive tackles. Fisk from Stanford, and Thornton a year ago, a rookie pick from West Virginia. Boy, has this been a fast first quarter, Dan.
Yes, well, of course, the Titans used up the first half of the first quarter with their opening drive for a touchdown. That's what when I commented about it being a perfect drive. No mistakes. It ended up in a touchdown, and it chewed up a lot of time.
Inside to Jamal Lewis, and Randall Godfrey makes the tackle, as he did so often this year, leading the Titans in that category. And that'll take us to the end of this opening quarter. The Ravens in Tennessee territory, and Billick not apparently very happy with something. It might just be the communication system. He certainly didn't like that opening drive. Tennessee fans did. It's 7-0. Brooks performs live at the People's Choice Awards tonight on CBS. No question about the People's Choice here in Nashville. There they are in the Titan blue. 7-0 as we open this second quarter with the Ravens at the Tennessee 34. Third down, and call it long 7. Dilfer, good protection, and he's going long. Stokely is open. Incomplete, and what timing by Blaine Bishop. It looked as if the only way Bishop could stop a touchdown was with an interference call, but he got there in perfect time.
Well, there's one other way to stop a touchdown, and that's if Trent Dilfer severely underthrows the football. Look at Stokely. He has to come to a complete stop almost and wait for the football. Stokely has Bishop by a couple of steps, and if Trent just puts a little more air under the football, that is an easy Baltimore touchdown.
It's out of field goal range, or at least Billick does not want to sacrifice a missed field goal and give the Titans the ball out around the 45. Kyle Richardson to Derek Mason. Richardson, one of the best at dropping it inside the 5, and he does it again at the 1-yard line. Covered by James Trapp. And so Tennessee will start with their heels on the goal line.
You know your business, man.
Hope so. Early in the second quarter, Tennessee puts it in play. They spotted at the 3-yard line as McNair sets up shop. Eddie George up the middle. And out near the 10-yard line before Corey Harris can trip him up. Let's go back. How close was it to a Raven touchdown?
Well, I talked about it being underthrown. Here's Stokely right here. He's just going to run a straight go pattern to the end zone. But watch how he has Blaine Bishop by a good 2 steps. Look at it right there. But watch how he has to literally come to a stop and wait for the underthrow from Dilfer. Bishop is able to catch up, gets a hand on the football, and ends up making a good play. But that was oh so close for Baltimore.
2nd and 3. George, the deep set tailback, gets around the corner and finally knocked out of bounds by Chris McAllister, but it's a first down for the Titans.
Well, in the 2 games this year, Eddie George gets knocked out of the first game on the first play of the game. The second game, he only ends up with 28 yards on 12 carries. And Baltimore does everything but just say Eddie George is not going to be a factor in this game. Well, he has certainly been a factor at the beginning of this game, Dick. His line has been blocking for him, and he has been running hard.
15 yards on the last 2 carries for George. 38 yards in this first half. He gets it again. And draws a crowd. Tony Siragusa, Larry Webster, the beef on the tackle. Eddie George, you want to talk about consistency this year. You don't know when he's going to be at his best. In the first half, how about 755 yards rushing? How about the second half? 754 yards rushing. The man is just, you can almost write it down. He's going to give you that 1,500-yard season. In fact, he's the first in some years to rush for over 1,200. 5 straight years. You see him on
pretty elite
the 5 seasons. You bet. Second and 9. McNair has it knocked right back to himself by Burnett. And he'd have been better off not catching it.
That's just instinct. That's an instinct that Steve wishes wouldn't have come into play. You're right. It batted right directly back to him, and he just didn't know what else to do but catch it. But once he had it, then he had no choice but to run with it. Rob Burnett, 10.5 sacks this year. A lot of people in this league thinks he was really slighted in not getting a Pro Bowl bid. But what a play. Not only bats the ball back, but then tackles McNair as well.
That's his specialty. He has a handful of those every year, those deflected passes.
He gets a deflected pass, and he gets a sack.
Played at Syracuse, and one of the regulars that are left from the Cleveland Brown days, Matt Stover's the only other that wore the Browns uniform in Cleveland.
You know, now that I think about it, that may not be a sack because it was a completed pass. I was wrong.
A week from today on CBS, the AFC Championship. It'll be the Ravens at Oakland or Oakland here against Tennessee, depending the outcome. 4 o'clock, kickoff time, 3:30 for NFL Today next Sunday. And then the winner on to the Super Bowl in Tampa in 3 weeks. Ball control. The Titans led the league in ball control this year. The handoff inside of George. And he's able to fight his way out to the 24. But that was a 3rd and 19 after McNair lost 10 yards on the catch of his own pass, and the punting team comes on.
No, but what was, I think, critical there for Tennessee, there were about 3 broken tackles on the run. Eddie George, I would venture to say, a man on a mission today.
George has had a solid first half, 54 yards rushing, as Hendrick on to punt it to Jermaine Lewis. Lewis back at the Baltimore 34. Short end over end. Lewis gets by the first man and is hit at the 43-yard line by Terry Phoenix. Phoenix, the defensive back who took an interception to a touchdown against Baltimore earlier. 7-0 Tennessee. Jeff Fisher played his collegiate football, defensive back at Southern California, drafted by the Bears. The Ravens trailing 7-0, start from the 43. Incomplete, might have been deflected. Randall Godfrey leaping into the pass pattern from his linebacker position. Qadri Ismail was the intended receiver.
Here's Ismail in his pattern, just running about 17 straight down and then flat into the middle, and he slips a little bit. This field is a little loose, and you see there's the deflection right there in the middle by Randall Godfrey. But the traction is something we're going to have to pay attention to as this game goes along.
Lewis, he hit Greg Favors in the hole, met Lewis head on and jolted him back. Favors from Mississippi State. Now was Sam Gash, who gets a rare carry, had only a dozen all year, trying to mix up. And look at this hit by Favors and Godfrey.
Yeah, Randall Godfrey really puts a hat in the shoulder pads. This is what you would call a rejection. Rejected, repelled, bounced backwards. That's a big-time knock.
It's 3rd and 10.
Wide open is Shannon Sharp. They forgot about the tight end, and Sharp is all the way to the 1-yard line. Oh, my. A total breakdown defensively by the Titans, and Sharp was 10 yards in the open. 56-yard play.
Well, this is a miscommunication in the defense here by Tennessee, because how you lose track of Shannon Sharp. You see Patrick Johnson right behind him. You could see on the left there's Samari Rolle confused as to who to cover. When Patrick Johnson went behind Shannon Sharp, Samari Rolle lost track of who he was supposed to cover.
1st and goal. Jamal Lewis. He ties it up. He's in the end zone for a Baltimore touchdown.
Well, that time, Baltimore, Dick, took advantage of good field position. They have kind of been at the tail end of the field position battle. That time, getting the ball at their own 43, they made the most of it. But a lot of help along the way by a miscue by Tennessee's defense.
And Jamal Lewis, who had 6 rushing touchdowns regular season, 2 last week in the Denver win, puts Stover on the field with a chance to tie it with this extra point. The Titans had not allowed a touchdown in 11 consecutive quarters, but Jamal Lewis changes that, and we're even at 7. Jamal Lewis with a 1-yard touchdown to tie it at 7, and now the kickoff. Stover to Derek Mason, who stands inside the 10 and collects it at the 8. Slips down, and there to secure the tackle.
Boy, a lot of good things on that touchdown by Baltimore, that run by Lewis. Watch Ogden come down, come back and get another. Here's Shannon Sharp. Watch his block on Kenny Holmes. Watch Ogden get 2. He goes down, and then he comes back over and puts Salvea on his back. Sharp puts Holmes on the ground, but there was an explosion here. Sam Gash on Eddie Robinson. Eddie Robinson is staggered. And Brian Billick, I am back in the game, boys.
Boy, what a hit by Gash on Robinson. 243-pound Robinson. That was a knockout punch.
That was an explosion.
Eddie George tripped up. Tony Siragusa down low to get him. Reminder for live in-game scoring, the best action photos and the fastest NFL information on the web. Just click on NFL at cbs.sportsline.com. Siragusa, who's a quote book, said that we are the best defense in the history of man, going all the way to cavemen were the best.
Rob Burnett had a good one, too. He said Jim Brown couldn't run against this defense.
No lack of confidence. On 2nd and long, McNair fires. And it's a 1st down out to the 35 to Mason, who caught 63 during the regular season. This 4-year veteran from Michigan State.
And that was not the plan going to training camp. Derek Mason was going to be a return guy and help out as the 3rd wide receiver. But because of injuries to Thigpen and to Pickens, Derek Mason had to step up. His response? Only to set the NFL record in combined yardage. How's that for a guy that you don't count on him to be the star? He's rewarded with a trip to Hawaii.
On 1st down, it's George. Up the middle and running through tackles out to the 43-yard line. Inspired, high-knee driving Eddie George from Ohio State.
The other reason that Mason had to pick it up, remember Kevin Dyson, who almost got in the end zone during the Super Bowl. Dyson tore up his knee during practice back in September, and he's on injured reserve. So Derek Mason had to really do it. Look at that.
Little Train James, his record wiped out by
and number
more
4
than 100.
there, Terry Metcalf, a teammate of mine when he set the record back in 75.
McNair underneath. George is buried by Ray Lewis at the 45, short of the 1st down by 2 yards.
This is bad blood, folks. They are not exchanging anything other than vicious comments to one another. This was a game, quite frankly, coming into it, that if we went all the way through it without some sort of a fight, I was going to be very surprised.
Lewis leading with that helmet and put a good lick on him. There's
another Lewis.
Another Lewis. There are plenty of them on the Raven roster. Defensive coordinator Marvin, a top candidate for a head coaching job. It's closer to 2 for the first down. McNair tripping and then throwing complete. It's Yancey Thigpen, the former Steeler. First down.
Oh, did Steve McNair get hit, and he is still down on the ground.
Ray Lewis got him.
Oh, Steve McNair is down.
And this could be critical to the Titans. Their backup is the former Steeler, Neil O'Donnell.
Steve had to jump up in the air when he delivers the pass, and it puts him in a completely defenseless position. Watch him go up in the air, and Ray Lewis hits him right in the throat. And remember, this is a guy, Steve McNair, who had to miss some time early in the season because of a bruised sternum. Remember early in the year, Dick, he missed the game.
That was a Kansas City Chiefs game.
Yep, and there he gets it right in the face mask. A helmet-to-helmet shot from Ray Lewis. Now, you got to wonder, did he have an arm underneath? Here it is earlier in the year, the Kansas City Chiefs. Bang, right in the stern. That took care of Steve McNair for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, a lesser man would have been out for the season.
This is a blow big time to the Titans.
And back here in Tennessee, Steve McNair able to leave the field under his own power. 8 for 9, 50 yards, plus a couple of timely scrambles on that opening drive. Neil O'Donnell, the 34-year-old veteran, takes over at quarterback, and the toss to George. And nothing there.
Let's go back and take a look at the hit, Dick. They're looking at the left shoulder of Steve McNair, and you're going to see why. When he gets hit here by Ray Lewis, watch how he's not able to protect his fall. His left shoulder right there gets driven right into the ground, and the full weight of Ray Lewis lands right on top of Steve McNair.
And Lewis, at 260 pounds, had a big running start to make that hit.
The good news was, as he was walking off the field, he was kind of windmilling his arms, so he's able to move it. You know, you worry about, A, a dislocation of the shoulder, and B, something happening to your clavicle, your collarbone.
O'Donnell saw action in a couple of games early in the season when McNair was injured. Here's George, and again, he draws a crowd, led by Peter Boulware, with Rod Woodson coming up from secondary, and Ray Lewis with a little verbal volley to follow through.
Yeah, Lewis walks over and actually looks right into the Tennessee bench to let him have it. Again, great pursuit, but Peter Boulware is making the tackle at the legs. Ray Lewis up top, and then he goes right over and lets him have it at the Tennessee bench.
Two handoffs.
No shortage of emotion on this field today.
Two handoffs for George. 3-yard deficit, 3rd and 13. O'Donnell's first pass. Over the middle, complete. Derek Mason. First down. What a big play for the Titans.
And the guy responsible in his own defense, where Mason catches the ball, is Ray Lewis. And I think the crowd really reacting to the fact that Ray Lewis isn't able to make the tackle on Mason. Right there, Ray Lewis just oh so short. And excellent work here on Derek Mason. 188-pound guy, and you're catching it right in the middle. Linebackers condominium right in the middle there. Takes a little courage to do that.
18 yards on the play for Mason's catch, his second of the game, and a first down at the 28. 4.5 left before the intermission. George. And that stout defense against the run getting tougher and tougher for the Ravens. And here comes McNair back on the field. Michelle McNair, his lovely wife. Boy, she'd take a little deeper breath now.
Wouldn't want to put a heart rate monitor on her right now. That's the most helpless position in the world.
Flag down, complete to Wycheck, the tight end, to about the 22, but the flag thrown in the holding area. How quiet it has become.
Man. Well, illegal use of hands. Somebody put a hand into the face of one of the defensive linemen.
Illegal use of hands. 71 offense, grabbing the face mask. That's a 10-yard penalty, second down.
Well, Fred Miller was the starting right tackle last year for the St. Louis Rams, and yeah, there it is. He gets right into the face of Rob Burnett, and that got the flag thrown right away by Bernie Kukar. But Miller won a Super Bowl ring with the Rams, and then came over here to Tennessee and said, well, geez, let's try to win one here.
Second and 19. McNair goes deep this time, and it's going to be almost intercepted by Dwayne Starks, who made his move and had a shot at it. He led the Ravens with 6 picks on the year.
Ooh, really throwing into double coverage. Rod Woodson there as well, trying to find Mason as he makes his break to the outside. But look at Rod Woodson, how he gets over there, and Dwayne Starks got both hands on the football. Ooh, right there. It would have been a spectacular catch, but a very risky throw by McNair.
There's Starks, who played his high school ball in Miami. So Maury Roll was his wide receiver, and Starks was the quarterback.
Said Roll ran terrible patterns. I guess that's why he's a corner, an all-pro corner.
Third and 19 to the sidelines. Yancey Pigpen hammered down at the 33. Is it a field goal opportunity? Let's see if Aldel Greco comes on to try to break the tie. Nope, he's called back off the field. He'll take him. Now he goes on. Jeff Fisher says go for it. Del Greco had a chance to win the game here against Baltimore in November after missing an extra point. Had a chance for amends, but missed a 43-yarder at the end of the game that could have given his team victory. This is a tough one. 50 yards, his longest of the year. 50. That was to win the game at Philadelphia. It is short, but a flag is down.
A lot of the guys from Baltimore weren't even down in their stance.
They weren't prepared, and offside is the preliminary signal against the Ravens.
Well, 5 yards would have made that kick good.
91 defense, 5-yard penalty, still fourth down.
Lionel Dalton, the defensive lineman.
The Ravens were surprised by how quickly Tennessee got to the line. And there you see Dalton trying to get over in position well into the neutral zone. Well, if Aldel Greco hits the same kick he just hit with these 5 yards, it would be good.
Now from 45. No, diving spiral that barely made the goal line.
It might have gotten tipped. Did that get hit at the line of scrimmage?
Well, Keith Washington is saying, I got something.
That sure came out of there ugly. It looked like somebody got a hand on it.
Washington, it looks like the ball changes flight right there.
Let's take a good look at it from behind right here. Yeah, it looked like Washington. Yeah, Keith Washington got his hand on it.
Well, these two teams, the stingiest in the league to score against, if you take how many points they allowed per game, they were 2 of the 3 toughest defenses since the 16 game. The score would be Baltimore 12 and Tennessee 10. That's how many points they allowed on the regular season. And it's 7-7 here, and the Ravens a chance for the lead at halftime. Lewis tackled forward out to the 37, a 2-yard gain. Kenny Holmes there leading the defensive charge. for the Titans.
This has been one fast first half to this point.
Already to the 2-minute warning. Here in Asheville, it's the Ravens and the Titans tied at 7. Ravens with the ball 2 minutes before the half. It's tied at 7, and it looks as if Baltimore picking up some momentum. They get the big play to Shannon Sharp. They block a field goal. The hit by Lewis.
And they're getting
McNair.
better field position. Tennessee, though, really dominant in time of possession, 19 and change to 8 and change. So it's been Tennessee's way, but it's still 7-7. And Baltimore, if they could go to halftime tied here, you know that has to thrill Brian Billick.
And with all the hard hitting, and it's been true of the playoffs, so few turnovers, so few fumbles, as we look ahead to the NASDAQ.com halftime report with Jim, Mike, and Jerry in New York with an analysis of the first 30 minutes and more.
In a playoff scenario that we've seen so far this year, where every home team has won, and a lot of them routes, this has to be pleasing to the Ravens fans that we're 7-7, and they have a chance to even take the lead before halftime.
They bring in Ben Coates at tight end, so Sharp at one end of the line and Coates at the other. Dilfer throws incomplete. Ismail had it right in his hands. And we'll go down to Bonnie Bernstein.
Well, guys, Shannon Sharp had that huge catch on the last drive. He's actually had 2 of his 3 best games against the Titans. Earlier in October, the breakthrough game, he said, I was struggling before that, and in my 10 years of football, I've never gone to a coach and said, give me the ball. But I said that day to Billick, I can't help the offense if you keep taking me out every other play. He had 8 catches then, 8 catches in November, and he's been totally in sync ever since.
Well, he's going to set the record next year. He'll break Ozzie Newsome's mark, most catches by a tight end. Priest Holmes in the backfield as Dilfer is sacked. Henry Ford had his motor company in the backfield.
Well, you start your pass protection from the inside out. You don't let the nose tackle come free like that. And what a move by Henry Ford on Jeff Mitchell, the center for the Ravens. That is a complete whiff.
And a timeout call to stop the clock with 1:53 left. No chance for Dilfer.
And Mitchell thinks he's going to get some help from his right guard, Mike Flynn, but Flynn has to pick up a blitzer. And Henry Ford, boy, that's an upfield rush. And nose tackles, you know, they don't get a lot of action when it comes to rushing the pass. It beat somebody else.
Well, Kyle Richardson to kick it to ever-dangerous Derek Mason. It's blocked, and rolls out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Chris Coleman. Coleman, a free agent, undrafted rookie from North Carolina State. Number 17.
Going to come in from the right side. Elevates. Gets both hands on the football. And a special teams mistake has now put the Ravens with their back against the wall. What a play by Coleman.
First time a Titan or Oiler has blocked a punt in 11 seasons.
That's a dry spell.
So Coleman gives McNair and the offense a chance to break the tie. First down at the 25. Underneath to Wycheck, and Ray Lewis wrestles him down. Lewis, 260 pounds and only 7% body fat, has led the Ravens in tackles every year. 5 seasons in the league, 5 times he has been the gem in the center of that defense for Baltimore. Second and 6. Quick throw. Mason. And he's tackled right at the yardsticks by Rod Woodson, who came flying over. Woodson in his 14th season still showing such terrific acceleration to the ball.
Well, when you see Mason catch that ball, you're thinking to yourself, there's no way he's not going to pick up a whole lot of yardage after the catch. It's enough for the first down. But, boy, look how Rod Woodson doesn't give him anything after he makes contact.
Just does make the first down. 45 seconds left in the half. George
through a couple of tackles, but finally brought down after a 2-yard gain. Now, Tennessee has only one timeout left, and the clock is running. They want to save that for a field goal. And McNair's going to down the ball to stop it at 25 seconds. That gives the Titans 3rd down and 8 deep in Baltimore territory inside the 15 at the 13-yard line. The NASDAQ.com halftime report with our gang back in New York have done a tremendous job all season long, and be interesting to get their comments and what they've seen this first half. Also, Tim Brown, Mr. Ever Ready out there in Oakland. Boy, you can always count on him. And the Raiders very impressive yesterday in their win against Miami. From the 13, McNair. Nobody open. And threw a backhanded pass. Or what? Oh, a little punch and shove in the end zone. Tony, check that. It was Robert Bailey, the veteran for the Ravens, threw a punch at Eddie George down there. And there's no flag on the toss by McNair, who threw a shovel backhanded pass in the direction of a blue jersey.
But he was outside. He was outside the tight end pocket. That's the key there. Steve McNair was out far enough where he could go ahead and get rid of the football and not get the intentional grounding.
Save the sack and give Del Greco now a fairly short attempt. 31 yards.
This one is up. Oh, no good. He hits the upright again. He rattled the yellow post again, as he did against Baltimore in November on an extra point. Oh, how big is that? 2 chances. Actually 3, the 50-yard line, then the 45 he is blocked, and now this one from 31.
Al Del Greco has to be mortified that he misses a field goal that close, of all teams, against the Ravens in his own stadium, the same upright that he hit with an extra point that ended up being the difference in a 24-23 ball game here November the 12th. He then followed that up by having a chance to win the game, and he pushed a 43-yard field goal wide right.
With 14 seconds, Trent Dilfer will take a kneel down, and the Ravens, as the visitors here to Adelphia, have to be very pleased that they go to the locker room even, as Al Del Greco denied twice here late in the second quarter field goal attempts to give Tennessee the lead. Let's go down to Bonnie Bernstein.
Brian Billick, no secret stopping Eddie George. Priority 1 today. How do you keep him settled in a little more in the second half?
Well, I'm not sure. Whatever I say is probably going to show up on that board, so I'm going to hesitant to say anything.
Thanks, Coach.
Well, that was brevity at its best or worst.
You be the judge.
Well, the Ravens saw Tennessee score first. They tie it up 7-0. NASDAQ.com halftime.
The information source for the serious investor.